I'm Beverlee McFadden. I'm 69 years old. I live southeast of Mineola, Kansas. I was raised in a little town called Hanston, Kansas. And it was a little town back in the 50s and 60s, and it was a good place to raise kids. There was no computers, no cell phones, hardly any television. 2 channels is all we could get. So we had to occupy ourselves doing other things. So in grade school, my sister and I would go fishing. Our house was right beside the Buckner Creek that runs through Hanston. And after school, we'd get our fishing poles and go down and catch some fish. And at our house, if you catch them, you cleaned them. So I learned to clean fish at an early age. What keeps me busy is just stuff on the farm. I raise a garden, and when I can, all the produce that we raise, what we don't eat. Everyday household chores you've got to do, laundry, cleaning, and we keep our son's dog, and that's kind of a full-time job because she is pretty active, and she requires a lot of time. So that's about the extent of my days. It was in the fall, and it was a foggy day, and it was going to get cold, and Ron went to turn the chickens and the ducks out. And he noticed that the cats were looking at something in the tall grass. And he went, and it was feathers. So he brought her to the house, and I got a box and food and something for her to drink. And she just grew. We just took care of her, and she lived with us and still is living with us. She started doing some real cute things, and so I would write them down on a piece of paper. And later on, I looked at that list and I thought, you know, this would make a cute book. So I started putting things on the computer and adding things, and that's kind of how the book got written. It's all her. One day I was putting words on the computer, and my neighbor came over, and she asked what I was doing, and I told her, well, I would guess I'm working on a book. She said, a book? You writing a book? I said, yeah, you want to read it? And so she read it, and she turned around and she said, that is precious. I said, really? Do you think it's that good? She said, yes. So I wanted somebody else's opinion. So my daughter-in-law came in later on, and I had her read it. She reads a lot of books. And when she got done, she said, that is good. And I said, do you really think it is? She said, yeah, you need to do something with this. I said, in what way? And she said, well, you ought to see if you can get it published. So that's when I started looking for publishers, and found one, and that's how it got started. Well, it's a true story. Everything in the book happened, and it's just what happened. That's what wrote the book, was her emotions, and I wrote it down, and it's in the book. Everything in the book is true, actually happened. Well, one thing that happened, we lost her one time. We'd been putting her out in the yard and letting her get roam around, and in the evening we'd let her come in. Well, that evening there was no feathers. We could not find her anywhere. We figured an owl or something had swooped down and got her. But she was gone 24 hours, but the next day my husband came carrying her in. We were all crying over feathers. Something happened to feathers, but she just pulled a little trick on us and just decided she was going to come in when she wanted to. But she stayed with us the rest. She hadn't done it again since. So That's good. I think she got under the house, truthfully, because there's a little gap under the deck, and we think she got under the house. She got under the house, and she didn't want to come back out. But she finally came out, and she hadn't got back under there again. Well, on a farm, you take care of your animals. If one gets sick, you take care of it. And if a dog gets bit by a rattlesnake, which has happened several times, you take them to the vet, you take care of them. And same way with Feathers. She's had a few calamities where she got stepped on, but she's never had anything major happen. But you just take care of them. That's what you do. That's a responsibility you take on when you take on a pet or an animal. It is her. She has her own personality, and it shows in the book. She's just Feathers. She does things what she wants to do, and you can't make her do it. She just does it. And you can't make her stop to do something, but she has a mind of her own. She really does. So you can't change her. Her favorite snack is shredded cheese. She loves cheddar cheese of all things. And she likes corn chips. I mean, she's a junk food duck. So yeah, she's going to get pretty fat, I think, because and she doesn't really like bread though, but she sure likes cheese. If she's in a funny mood, she'll pick on the dog. If the dog's in the house, she'll pull their hair, and that gets things going. And or she'll flap those wings, and at them, and they don't like that. So she has ways of getting things stirred up, that's for sure. I think they'll find out that farm life isn't dull. They'll find out that you can have more than one kind of pet. You can have a duck for a pet. And I know several kids that's got ducks because of Feathers. So, yeah, I think if they read the book, they'll enjoy it. And they'll learn a lot. And my cousin's little girl got a duck because of Feathers. It took me 7 months to write it, because through the different stages she went through, it was a different little story. And the very last of it, I hate to say this, but because it's in the book, but I let it go until she laid her first egg. And that took 7 months till she laid her egg. So it was a long time to drag a book out, but it turned out to be pretty good. The very next morning, after everybody was up, Hilda and Joe were getting their coffee ready. Joe looked down at his chair, and there was a newly laid egg. Feathers had laid her first egg exactly 7 months to the day when Feathers hatched from hers. It's a true story. She laid her egg in the chair. Everything is 100% true in the book. Everything happens. There's nothing fictitious about it at all. I think they'll find happiness, joy, contentment. I had an 80-year-old woman tell me that it's one book I can pick up and read time after time, and it always leaves a smile on my face. So I think that there is a testament of the book, that it is a good book. No new projects. I did have an incubator full of eggs, duck eggs, but I got rid of them because none of them were good. So that kind of shot that. But last fall, I was going to go around to the kindergarten classes in the surrounding towns and take Feathers and, just talk to them a little bit. And I was invited to a Goddard library, and Feathers and I went over there, and we met some of the kids, and some of those kids had never seen a duck before. And that was fun to see the kids' reaction to have an animal brought in, you know. Well, that was just a one-time thing, but I don't think it would be too much of a deal if I would contact them, and I'm sure they would let me bring her in. And I thought about the kindergartens at the schools too. And I was going to take her into school this fall, but it never happened. It's just too much was going on, so maybe we'll do it this next spring or this next fall.